So what is noise? Well, it's everything that my grandmother hated.
Often when people ask me to describe Taiwan, they're thinking, what does it look like? But not often do people ask you, what does Taiwan sound like? But actually it's full of surprising noises and sounds that you wouldn't commonly encounter, particularly in the West.
Well, I think that in Taiwan, different sounds collide. They're not separated. Different sounds crossing over and connecting with each other. It's a noisy place. We have a fantasy that we live in a harmonious society, that everything fits together nicely, but really the world is chaotic and it's violent. Noise doesn't sugarcoat that. Noise says, here's the world as it is, deal with it, find your way with it, find the vitality in it, find the energy in it.
I think there's a kind of breakdown of time too, you know, with traditional music, particularly pop music. There's your verse, chorus, verse structure, and often there's some form of narrative. But in noise, you get sort of lost in time, and I often find in a very good noise performance, 3 hours can feel like 3 minutes, and 3 minutes can feel like 3 hours.
It's not regulated by time. In the early 1990s in Taiwan, people really started working with sound and performance. It was an exciting period for Taiwan in general, coming out of martial law. As Taiwan became a democracy, artists wanted to use different forms. They wanted to challenge conventional structures and talk about different things that they hadn't talked about. And I think that was part of it. One was the artist Wong Fu-rei. Wong Fu-rei in the early 1990s studied in San Francisco, and when he was in San Francisco he encountered noise and sound art in warehouse spaces, and he decided he wanted to come back to Taiwan and get something like that happening here. So in 1993 he started the publication Noise, which was also a tape label, and began introducing international artists and local artists to audiences here through this publication and through these music releases. And that wasn't only influential in Taiwan, it was also influential throughout China and Hong Kong, I believe. It was a very important thing.
And I think when you return to more conventional music, you listen to it in a different way.
Exactly.
It's kind of like learning a second language. It changes the way you think about your mother tongue.
Yes.
And I think that after exploring noise, you listen to conventional music in a completely fresh way as well.
It does sound different.
You're so much more tuned into and aware of the rules and the structures of it.
And I don't want to only listen to noise. I don't want to always have that kind of freedom. That kind of freedom is dangerous. It's exciting. It's full of potential. You know, it's momentary freedom, but at the end of the day, we need to go back to our lives and back to the world we know and as we understand it, but something's changed after that experience.